Have you ever stopped to think about the latent power that resides in your own body, in something as fundamental as your breath? We live immersed in an incessant cycle of demands, where external noise seems to dominate our perception, obscuring the quietude and strength we can access at any moment. The limiting belief that anxiety is an inescapable burden, a constant companion on our journey, prevents us from glimpsing a horizon of clarity and fulfillment. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking your maximum potential, to navigating life's complexities with unshakable serenity, is closer than you imagine, accessible with every inhale and exhale? What if this ancestral practice, often relegated to the background, is actually the most revolutionary tool you possess to transform your health and achieve your most ambitious goals? Prepare yourself to question everything you thought you knew about your own being and discover an inner force capable of dispelling the fog and illuminating your path. The journey through understanding the mind and the universe takes us to a fascinating territory where ancestral exploration merges with the most recent discoveries. The relevance of this knowledge lies in its intrinsic capacity to expand consciousness, allowing us to transcend the perceived limits of reality and enter a field of infinite possibilities. By unraveling the mechanisms that govern our perception and how we interact with the world, we open doors to the active co-creation of our life experience. Understanding this dynamic is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a powerful tool for personal development. The human search for meaning, this deep yearning to understand our place in the cosmos and the purpose of our existence, finds in this wisdom fertile ground to flourish. Simultaneously, the discovery of our own personal power, the capacity to influence reality and shape our destiny, becomes tangible as we delve deeper into these teachings. Exploring this intersection between the ancient and the modern is not, therefore, a whim, but an intrinsic necessity for human evolution, a bridge that connects what we are to what we can become. A new dawn was breaking on the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant hues that reflected the intensity of recent discoveries. Sitting by the window, I watched the city awaken, each building, each street, a small universe of intentions and energies in motion. The reflections from the previous night, guided by the analysis of energetic patterns captured by recently calibrated instruments, reverberated in my mind. With each detected pulse, each deciphered flow of information, new layers of the complex tapestry that constitutes our existence unfolded. The connection between thoughts and material manifestations, once merely a speculative concept, now presented itself with surprising clarity, almost palpable. The collected data indicated a direct and measurable correlation between states of intensified mental focus and subtle but definitive alterations in the immediate environment. This was not mere coincidence or subjective interpretations, but concrete evidence that challenged established paradigms. It was as if each thought, each cultivated intention, emitted a wave, a vibration that, when combined with others, created a field of influence, shaping the fabric of reality in previously unimaginable ways. The possibility that we are not mere spectators, but active co-authors of our lives, gained increasingly clear contours. The understanding of these principles, once restricted to esoteric circles and ancient philosophies, now found validation in laboratories and advanced research centers. The duality between the material and the immaterial dissolved, revealing a fundamental unity where the mind exercised a preponderant role. The universe, far from being a cold and deterministic entity, seemed to respond to our conscious participation, a constant invitation to shape the future with the force of our perception and our unified will. The search for knowledge, therefore, transformed into an act of empowerment, an invitation to explore the limits of what we believe to be possible. Conscious breathing emerges not as a mere physiological act, but as the anchor that reconnects us to the essence of our being and to the vibrant weave of reality. It is the subtle bridge between the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions and the serene space of clarity. By intentionally directing our attention to the flow and ebb of air, we open a crack in the curtain of automatism, allowing a new perspective to infiltrate. This simple practice, almost trivial in its execution, functions as an internal scanner, allowing us to observe the repetitive patterns that govern our reactions and, consequently, our experiences. Imagine your mind as a river in constant movement, carrying with it debris of worries, memories, and expectations. Conscious breathing is like finding a serene observation point on its banks. From there, you don't try to stop the river, which would be futile and exhausting, but you begin to observe the flow with new curiosity. The debris continues to pass, but now you recognize it as part of the river, without being dragged by the current. This capacity to observe without judging, to witness without identifying, is what transforms breathing into a portal for transformation. By focusing on breathing, we activate the internal observer, that part of us that can witness life's dramas without being swallowed by them. It's as if we gained a pair of special glasses that reveal the illusions under which we operate. Suddenly, a recurring thought that seemed like an absolute truth reveals itself as merely a mental construction. An overwhelming emotion loses its force when we see it arise and, inevitably, dissipate. This change in the perception of reality is profound because it affects how we interpret events. What was once an insurmountable obstacle can become an invitation to creativity, loss, a space for new beginnings. Conscious breathing is, in essence, the key that unlocks our innate capacity to choose how to respond to life's flow, instead of being mere passive passengers. It's the silent reprogramming of our internal operating system, allowing us to navigate with more wisdom and compassion through the sometimes turbulent waters of existence. The practice of directing breathing for consciousness expansion purposes dates back to immemorial times, interweaving itself in the tapestries of diverse ancient cultures. This intrinsic connection between the air we breathe and access to states of heightened perception and profound insight is not a modern discovery, but rather an ancestral legacy. In the East, civilizations like the Indian and Chinese developed complex systems of breathing techniques. In India, yoga, with its various forms of pranayama, breathing control techniques, serve as a path to purify body and mind, preparing the practitioner for deep meditation and union with the divine. Through conscious manipulation of rhythm, depth, and retention of breath, they sought to calm the incessant flow of thoughts, opening portals to self-discovery and understanding the nature of reality. Masters like Patanjali, with his Yoga Sutras, described the vital importance of breathing as a means to achieve samadhi, a state of complete absorption and bliss. Similarly, in China, Taoism employed Qigong, a practice that combines gentle movement, meditation, and breath control to cultivate and balance qi, the vital energy. It was believed that proper breathing allowed the harmonious circulation of qi through the body, promoting health, longevity, and, crucially, a deeper alignment with the Tao, the fundamental principle of the universe. Taoist martial arts also incorporated these principles, teaching that inner strength and mental clarity were intrinsically linked to a controlled and powerful breathing pattern. In other lands, shamanic traditions of diverse indigenous cultures worldwide also made use of breathing methods, though often in a more intuitive way and integrated into rituals. Breathing was used to induce altered states of consciousness, allowing communication with the spiritual world, the search for healing, and the obtaining of prophetic visions. Specific chants and rhythms frequently accompanied these practices, synchronizing breathing with collective energy and environmental sounds. The common goal was to transcend the limitations of ordinary perception, accessing deeper layers of wisdom and connection. Figures like Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, are prime examples of individuals who mastered the art of contemplation and mindfulness, where observation of breathing was a central pillar of his path to enlightenment. His emphasis on breath observation as an anchor for the developing mind is a testament to the millennial efficacy of this practice. The understanding that the air entering and leaving is a constant flow, a portal to the present moment, enabled countless seekers to unravel the mysteries of their own minds and the cosmos. Modern science, in its relentless quest to unravel the mechanisms of existence, has gradually validated the ancestral wisdom contained in attentive observation of breath flow. Neuroscientific studies, employing neuroimaging techniques like functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG, have demonstrated measurable alterations in the brain activity of regular practitioners. Research published in journals like Nature Neuroscience and Cerebral Cortex reveals that the practice leads to greater connectivity between the prefrontal cortex, an area associated with executive control and emotional regulation, and the amygdala, the center of fear and stress responses. This reconnection strengthens the capacity to manage intrusive thoughts and impulsive reactions, promoting a state of calm and mental clarity. Beyond neurological effects, the benefits extend to the physical body. Breath regulation directly influences the autonomic nervous system, balancing sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest, responses. Research indicates that the practice can reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and improve heart rate variability, a marker of cardiovascular resilience and general well-being. Studies conducted at institutions like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, have explored how this technique can modulate the body's inflammatory response, contributing to the prevention and management of various health conditions. The activation of specific neural pathways related to body perception, such as the insular cortex, has also been observed, increasing proprioception and body awareness. The connection between the practice and what many call the energetic field finds resonance in emerging principles of physics. Quantum physics, with its description that reality is not made of solid and isolated particles, but of energy and probability fields, offers a new paradigm. The idea that the observer's consciousness can influence a system state, as demonstrated in double-slit experiments, suggests a fundamental interconnection between mind and matter. Reality transformation, under this view, is not an act of external manipulation, but an internal change in how we interact with the universal field. By cultivating a state of focused attention and clear intention through breathing, the practice can tune the individual to energy frequencies that, ultimately, co-create the experience of reality, aligning internal vibrations with desired external manifestations. Resonance and entanglement, quantum concepts, gain new dimensions when considered in the context of human consciousness and its capacity to influence the environment. Often, the path to accessing and directing these energies is obscured by limiting beliefs that tell us we are mere passive observers of destiny. One of them is the idea that our capacity to influence reality is minimal, restricted to direct physical action. This ignores the vast and complex web of interconnection that unites everything, where subtle energy and intention play crucial roles. Another common misconception is believing that pure willpower, focused only on the conscious mind, is sufficient. While intention is a powerful engine, it needs to be cultivated in a state of receptivity, allowing energies to resonate and manifest without the rigidity of excessive effort. Superficial approaches, which seek only to change thinking without accessing deeper layers of experience, frequently fail because they don't recognize that our internal and external states are intrinsically linked. Reality is not just something that happens to us, it's a reflection of the vibrations we emit, a mirror of our own energetic resonance. Mental superficiality in trying to manifest desires, focusing only on visualizing the result without cultivating the corresponding emotional and energetic state, is like trying to light a bulb without connecting to the electrical circuit. The energy simply has nowhere to flow and manifest. Similarly, the belief that we must be in a state of constant struggle or effort to achieve something diverts attention from the fundamental law of resonance. Instead of attracting what is desired, this state of tension can create resistance and generate the opposite, perpetuating cycles of frustration. The incorrect information that we are isolated, separate entities from the universal flow, prevents us from understanding our active role in co-creation. This fragmented view makes us feel powerless, when in fact, we are vibrational threads interwoven in existence's tapestry. The deeper and more integrated perspective recognizes that our consciousness is not a separate entity observing the universe, but rather an intrinsic and vibrational part of it. Conscious breathing, by anchoring us in the present moment and calming mental noise, opens a channel for this connection. It's in this space of quietude that we can align our internal vibrations with the frequencies of the reality we wish to experience. It's not about forcing or controlling, but about allowing, about tuning in. Quantum entanglement, which demonstrates how particles can influence each other instantaneously, regardless of distance, serves as a powerful reminder that this interconnection extends beyond the physical world, reaching our intentions and states of being. By cultivating a coherent internal resonance, we attract experiences that vibrate in harmony with this new frequency, transforming potential into reality. The failure of purely mental approaches lies in their inability to encompass the totality of being. The mind, though powerful in formulating intentions, operates on a denser plane. To truly co-create, it's necessary for mental intention to align with the emotional and energetic resonance of the body. When a person tries to manifest something only with thought, ignoring the associated feeling, the generated energy is fragmented and ineffective. It's like sending a radio signal without the correct frequency, it simply won't be received or decoded. Entanglement, in this context, suggests that our internal states are not isolated, but rather connected to the fabric of the universe, and that vibrational coherence within us can generate effects in our surroundings, even if we don't fully understand the mechanisms. Wisdom lies in recognizing this unity, in cultivating inner harmony as the key to manifesting the desired external reality. Therefore, it's fundamental to demystify the idea that we are mere passive recipients of a predetermined destiny. This limiting belief deprives us of our innate power to influence and shape our lives. We ignore the fact that our internal energy, when focused and aligned, has the capacity to interact with the fundamental laws of the universe. The incorrect information that influence only occurs through direct physical actions disregards the vibrational nature of all existence. The mind, by itself, can be a limited tool if it's not in tune with the heart and body. When we cultivate an integrated approach, where thought, feeling, and vibrational state work together, we open doors to deeper and more authentic co-creation, aligning our inner world with the external manifestations we seek. Often, we find ourselves immersed in a torrent of thoughts, worries, and expectations that distance us from the essence of what we truly wish to create. This disconnection can generate a feeling of powerlessness, as if we were adrift in a sea of possibilities, without a rudder to guide us. The good news is that there's a practical approach to rescue this control, to tune our internal frequencies with external manifestations, and it's called aligned desire unfolding. It's a subtle but powerful technique for those seeking to manifest their aspirations with clarity and conviction. Aligned desire unfolding is based on a fundamental principle: our desires manifest with more force and precision when there's harmony between what we think, what we feel, and how vibrationally we present ourselves to the universe. It's not enough to just think about something, it's crucial to feel its realization and allow this energy to radiate from within outward. This technique invites us to transcend mere imagination and dive into a state of active co-creation, where intention unites with emotion and vibration. Let's practice together. Choose a specific desire you'd like to manifest. It can be something simple, like finding a lost object, or something more complex, like attracting a professional opportunity. Set aside a quiet moment where you can concentrate without interruptions. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel the air filling your lungs. Now, let's go step by step. First, clear intention. Think about your desire with maximum possible clarity. Visualize it in detail. What do you want? What would it be like? Feel the presence of this desire already materializing. Don't worry about the how yet, just the what. Let the mental image form, sharp and defined, like a photograph in your mind. Second, emotional resonance. Now, dive into the emotions this realization would bring. How would you feel if this desire were already a reality? Feel the joy, gratitude, peace, excitement. Let these emotions take over you. Allow them to overflow, like a warm wave that envelopes you completely. It's not about forcing a feeling, but allowing it to arise naturally, nourished by the image you created. Third, acceptance vibration. This is the moment to align with the energy of your realization. Feel that you are already worthy and deserving of this desire. Believe in the possibility of its manifestation. Imagine yourself emitting an acceptance frequency, as if you were actively inviting this reality into your life. Imagine this energy emanating from you, enveloping your desire. Trust that the universe is listening and responding to this elevated frequency. Finally, conscious release. After experiencing these steps, breathe deeply once more and open your eyes. From this moment on, release excessive control over the process. Trust that the universe is working in your favor. Do your part, acting according to opportunities that arise, but allow manifestation to happen in its own time and in the most beneficial way for you. The secret lies in maintaining this attunement, revisiting intention, emotion, and vibration whenever you feel necessary, without anxiety or attachment. Experience this technique. Observe the subtle and powerful changes it can bring to your co-creation journey. The co-creation journey invites us to go beyond the conscious mind, to dive into the depths of our being to build a true, internal temple. This sanctuary is not a physical place, but a space of self-awareness, resilience, and peace that we cultivate through continuous practice. It's the art of fully inhabiting our body, recognizing it not just as a shell, but as a living archive of all our experience. Our body is an extraordinary receptacle, capable of storing not only clear memories of past events, but also the subtle nuances of emotions, sensations, and reactions that shaped who we are. Traumatic memories, profound joys, silent fears, all of this manifests in us, often in ways we don't fully understand. They can be unexplainable muscular tensions, recurring thought patterns, or even disproportionate emotional reactions. These are the blockages that, if ignored, can manifest as barriers to our full expression and manifestation. This is where conscious breathing emerges as a powerful tool for release. By directing attention to the flow of air, to the expansion and contraction of our body, we begin to access these deposits of stagnant energy. Each deep inhalation can be seen as an invitation to nourish and bring light to shadowy areas, while each exhalation becomes permission to release what no longer serves us. Breathing, when practiced with intention, can untie emotional and energetic knots that bind us to the past, opening space for new possibilities. Self-observation is the key to deciphering the body's language. I invite you to become a gentle detective of your own sensations. Where do you feel tension when a certain worry arises? What's the texture of your joy when something good happens? Paying attention to nuances, to tinglings, to tightness, to openings, allows us to understand the signals our body is sending us. This deep connection with bodily sensations is not an end in itself, but a portal to understanding our deepest needs and to releasing what prevents us from vibrating at the frequency of desired manifestation. By honoring and releasing what is stored, we build this internal temple, strengthening our capacity to co-create with the universe in an authentic and powerful way. The understanding that our body is a receiver and emitter of subtle energy opened a new range of possibilities. Now, we perceive that the continuous practice of mindfulness and internal listening is not limited to individual benefit, it actively shapes the electromagnetic field that surrounds us. Each thought, emotion, and intention generates a specific vibration that, when consciously cultivated, radiates outward. This energy is not static, it interacts with other people's fields, influencing the quality of our interactions. A state of calm and inner clarity, for example, tends to harmonize the surrounding electromagnetic field, creating a more receptive and peaceful atmosphere. The impact of this on interpersonal relationships is profound and often underestimated. When we are in tune with ourselves, with our emotions and true needs, our communication becomes more authentic and less reactive. The capacity to maintain a field of personal coherence, even in challenging situations, allows us to deal with conflicts more constructively. Instead of being dragged by others' dissonant energy, we can anchor a frequency of understanding and empathy, functioning as a point of balance. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings, but rather processing them in a way that doesn't overload our energetic field or that of others. Energetic responsibility, therefore, becomes a fundamental pillar for building healthy and meaningful relationships. Recognizing that our energetic emissions affect the environment and people around us invites us to be more conscious of our internal states. It's an invitation to cultivate a fertile inner garden, whose flowers radiate pleasant fragrances to all. This energetic self-management allows us to be catalysts of positivity, transforming the space where we are present. Creating a field of coherence is not an isolated act, but a continuous process of alignment between thought, emotion, and action. By consistently practicing gratitude, compassion, and clear intention, we strengthen this internal resonance. This field of coherence emanates a unique energetic signature that can positively influence the environment, promoting a more harmonious flow of energy for everyone involved. It's as if, by adjusting the frequency of our own radio, we could tune the environment to a more uplifting and collaborative station. This subtle but powerful influence demonstrates the intrinsic interconnection between our inner world and the external reality we co-create. Stillness is not merely the absence of noise, but a profound state of receptivity and presence. It's a portal to a source of power that resides not in frantic action, but in serene observation and inner listening. In this state of deliberate silence, the incessant demands of the external world diminish, allowing the underground currents of innate wisdom and intuition to manifest. Stillness disconnects us from the noise of distraction and reconnects us to a greater intelligence, a cosmic flow that permeates everything and everyone. It's a state where energy is not spent in resistance or struggle, but aligns with the natural current of the universe, becoming a channel for creative force. The regular practice of stillness is an invitation to harmonize our personal vibration with the universe's frequency. When we silence the ego and its incessant concerns, we allow our consciousness to expand, transcending the limitations of individual perspective. In this space of calm and openness, we begin to perceive underlying patterns, the invisible connections that govern existence's dance. Alignment with life's flow is not a struggle for control, but a trusting surrender, an acceptance of the intrinsic wisdom that guides growth and evolution. It's like letting a boat drift in a gentle river, trusting that the current will take it to its most authentic destination. By cultivating this inner stillness, we become more attuned to synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem to go beyond chance. These moments of meaningful coincidence are, in fact, messages from the universe, signs that we are on the right path, in harmony with the greater flow. When we are in a state of stillness and receptivity, our internal antennas are sharper, capable of capturing these resonances. Stillness allows us to see beyond linear causality and recognize reality's interconnected tapestry, where our thoughts, intentions, and the very energy we emanate manifest in surprising and divinely orchestrated ways. It's the universe's subtle language speaking to us, guidance through fortuitous encounters and sudden insights, all woven from the fertile silence we cultivate. Stillness allows us to see beyond linear causality and recognize reality's interconnected tapestry, where our thoughts, intentions, and the very energy we emanate manifest in surprising and divinely orchestrated ways. It's the universe's subtle language speaking to us, guidance through fortuitous encounters and sudden insights, all woven from the fertile silence we cultivate. What many describe as a state of pure potentiality, an ocean of infinite possibilities, is frequently referred to as the zero-point field. Imagine it as a blank canvas before painting, a space where everything is possible, but nothing has yet taken definitive form. Its existence as fundamental substrate, the source of all energy and information, pulsating with latent vibration. In this state, the distinctions we create in our everyday reality, like I and other, here and there, past and future, lose their rigidity. It's a unified consciousness, where separation is an illusion, and connection is the inherent truth. By entering this dimension through consistent practice of mindfulness, meditation, or any activity that calms mental noise, we begin to tune into this fundamental frequency. It's not about creating something from nothing, but about allowing life's natural flow to manifest through us, in a more authentic way aligned with our deepest essence. It's in this space of potentiality that manifestation gains new meaning. It's not an act of forced effort, but an invitation to co-create. By cultivating internal clarity about what resonates with our soul and the purpose we seek to fulfill, our intentions become seeds planted in this fertile soil of the zero-point field. The energy we emanate, purified by stillness and directed by clear intention, begins to shape reality. The universe, acting as a mirror of this inner state, responds, orchestrating circumstances, synchronicities, and opportunities that guide us toward the realization of this alignment. Practice, therefore, is the act of refining our attunement, of cleaning the filters that distort the original message, allowing the universe's innate wisdom to express itself fully in our lived experience, leading us down paths that once seemed unreachable. This connection with the zero-point field transcends mere realization of material desires. It invites us on a journey of self-discovery and expansion. By unveiling the superficial layers of our fears and limiting beliefs, we access a reservoir of inherent wisdom and creativity. The reality that manifests ceases to be a constant struggle and becomes a fluid dance, where challenges become opportunities for growth and joys become reflections of our inner harmony. With each step on this journey, the veil between what is and what can be becomes thinner, opening new avenues for expressing our highest potential, guided by an internal compass that points to our true self and the singular purpose we came to fulfill in this existence. Transformation is not a singular event, but a continuous process, a seed that, once planted in our being, germinates and expands, radiating its essence to the world. It's in this fertile soil that the idea of reality anchor flourishes. You, listener, are invited to become this anchor, someone who not only experiences coherence within themselves, but radiates it, acting as a beacon for those still navigating in seas of uncertainty. Being a reality anchor is manifesting an unshakable presence, grounded in inner wisdom, authenticity, and deep conviction that we are active co-creators of our lives and the world around us. This anchor posture doesn't require grandiose feats or inflammatory speeches. It manifests in small daily choices, in how we respond to challenges, in the empathy we extend to others, in the clarity with which we define our intentions, and in the persistence with which we honor them. It's an invitation to align thoughts, feelings, and actions, creating an internal resonance that reflects externally. When you radiate this coherence, you create a field of attraction, an energy that naturally inspires others to look within themselves, to question their own self-imposed limitations, and to awaken to the vast potential residing in each one. The practice of becoming a reality anchor is the catalyst for large-scale planetary transformation. Imagine a network of light spreading, where each anchor is a luminous point, strengthening and illuminating the others. By elevating our own vibration, by becoming more conscious of our choices and their impact, we contribute directly to the ascension of collective consciousness. Individual coherence generates waves of harmony that propagate, dissolving patterns of conflict and disunity, and opening space for collaboration and compassion. In this new landscape that unfolds, the co-creation of a more conscious world becomes a palpable reality. It's not about waiting for external change, but about being the change itself. By becoming reality anchors, we cultivate the mental clarity and emotional intelligence necessary to discern paths that lead to a prosperous and sustainable future for all. Intuition sharpens, allowing us to tune into the planet's and its inhabitants' deepest needs, and act in alignment with the universal flow. This invitation to be a reality anchor is, ultimately, an invitation to embrace our sovereignty as divine beings, capable of shaping existence through the force of our intention and the purity of our being. It's a call for each of us to become the epicenter of our own transformation, and, in doing so, inspire a global awakening movement. With each step on this journey, the veil between what is and what can be becomes thinner, opening new avenues for expressing our highest potential, guided by an internal compass that points to our true self and the singular purpose we came to fulfill in this existence. Transformation is not a singular event, but a continuous process, a seed that, once planted in our being, germinates and expands, radiating its essence to the world. It's in this fertile soil that the idea of reality anchor flourishes. You, listener, are invited to become this anchor, someone who not only experiences coherence within themselves, but radiates it, acting as a beacon for those still navigating in seas of uncertainty. Being a reality anchor is manifesting an unshakable presence, grounded in inner wisdom, authenticity, and deep conviction that we are active co-creators of our lives and the world around us. This anchor posture doesn't require grandiose feats or inflammatory speeches. It manifests in small daily choices, in how we respond to challenges, in the empathy we extend to others, in the clarity with which we define our intentions, and in the persistence with which we honor them. It's an invitation to align thoughts, feelings, and actions, creating an internal resonance that reflects externally. When you radiate this coherence, you create a field of attraction, an energy that naturally inspires others to look within themselves, to question their own self-imposed limitations, and to awaken to the vast potential residing in each one. The practice of becoming a reality anchor is the catalyst for large-scale planetary transformation. Imagine a network of light spreading, where each anchor is a luminous point, strengthening and illuminating the others. By elevating our own vibration, by becoming more conscious of our choices and their impact, we contribute directly to the ascension of collective consciousness. Individual coherence generates waves of harmony that propagate, dissolving patterns of conflict and disunity, and opening space for collaboration and compassion. In this new landscape that unfolds, the co-creation of a more conscious world becomes a palpable reality. It's not about waiting for external change, but about being the change itself. By becoming reality anchors, we cultivate the mental clarity and emotional intelligence necessary to discern paths that lead to a prosperous and sustainable future for all. Intuition sharpens, allowing us to tune into the planet's and its inhabitants' deepest needs, and act in alignment with the universal flow. This invitation to be a reality anchor is, ultimately, an invitation to embrace our sovereignty as divine beings, capable of shaping existence through the force of our intention and the purity of our being. It's a call for each of us to become the epicenter of our own transformation, and, in doing so, inspire a global awakening movement. Existence as dance becomes more harmonious, more intentional, and each step, guided by the internal anchor, leads us to a future where consciousness is the driving force and love is the universal language. Now that we feel the pulse of new reality within us, that the vision of a world in harmony has become a resonant echo in our hearts, it's time to take a step forward. Let's allow this internal spark to expand, let this newly discovered certainty manifest in a vibrant declaration to the universe. With all the force of our intention, with the clarity of a unified purpose, let's emit this wave of commitment. Visualize yourself as a beacon, emanating light and intention to the vastness that surrounds us. Feel the energy flowing through you, nourished by your unwavering decision. Declare in thought, aloud, or with the force of your spirit, I commit to this new way of being. I accept responsibility for my own evolution and open myself to being the highest expression of myself. May my journey be guided by inner wisdom, and may my light illuminate the path to a future of cooperation and flourishing. I am an agent of transformation. Feel the resonance of this declaration, how it reverberates, how it adds to countless other declarations of courage and hope, weaving a tapestry of expanding consciousness. This is not a solitary path. As each of us becomes a point of light, we begin to notice other beacons shining around us. There are souls vibrating at the same frequency, souls that, like you, chose the dance of intentional evolution. Seek these aligned hearts, connect with those who share this vision of a world where consciousness and love are the pillars. Together, we create a force field, a network of mutual support where inspiration is abundant and growth is accelerated. Participating in this community is nourishing your own flame. It's finding an echo for your ideals, learning from others' experiences, and offering your own brightness to guide those still seeking their path. Imagine the collective force, the synergy that emerges when numerous consciousnesses unite in a common purpose. The energy released by this collective is exponential, capable of shaping realities and manifesting the extraordinary. Each encounter, each exchange, each moment of genuine connection strengthens the chain, amplifying our capacity to co-create a future that transcends past limitations. Therefore, in making your declaration, also open your heart to find and join this brotherhood of transformers. Allow your light to be seen and let yourself, in turn, be guided by others' light. Union makes us stronger, more resilient, and more capable of manifesting the reality of harmony and consciousness we so desire. The dance now becomes a great circle, where each individual step contributes to the universal melody. As we close this cycle, it becomes clear that the journey toward inner balance and connection with something greater is not a final destination, but a dynamic and constantly evolving process. We've traveled the paths of self-discovery, understanding the interconnections that link us to everything, and how our actions, however small they may seem, echo in existence's great fabric. The essence of transformation lies in persistence, in daily dedication to applying these teachings, not as rigid rules, but as guides for a fuller and more conscious life. With each dawn, we are invited to rekindle the internal spark, to exercise gratitude, to cultivate empathy, and to act with compassion. This continuous practice, this daily commitment to being the best version of ourselves, is what solidifies changes and enables us to go beyond. We remember that, just as a melody is built note by note, inner peace and collective harmony are woven by our daily choices and attitudes. Integrating these principles into every aspect of daily life, in our interactions, at work, in leisure moments, is the secret to becoming a true agent of change. It's not about great feats, but about consistency in our intentions and actions. By allowing our inner light to shine and, at the same time, opening ourselves to the light of those walking beside us, we strengthen this transformation network. Together, as a great dance circle, where each individual step contributes to the universal symphony, we can, indeed, manifest the reality of harmony and consciousness that we all desire, both within ourselves and throughout the entire planet. Let us continue, therefore, to dance this dance, guided by each other's light and by the collective force of our transformations.